Alright, greetings everyone, this is Ronan Mac here, and I know what you're saying. How could Skyrim be any more awesome? Well, with the installation of a few mods. You can see Rhea, she is my housecarl for the Lakeside Manor.
Hello, my love. Back from some adventure, I bet.
Silji, my wife, and had to do a little editing
Yes,
with
my
her
love. What do you
to get her out of her ugly
little prophet?
mining costume.
This is your share, love.
And I decided to adorn her with the robes of Nocturnal, the goddess who apparently I sold my soul to. I hadn't figured out how to change her shoes yet.
You
But
expect me to believe that?
so she's got clodhopper miner shoes and this
Fine, love.
hot body
I think the
outfit
fresh air
there.
does wonders for all of us. And this house, it's just perfect.
Well, almost perfect. I still have to finish some stuff here. But.
Here, this is fresh. I'll have another meal ready tomorrow.
So with your wife, they'll give you money.
Goodbye, my love.
I don't know how she's raising money, but she's raising money. And they give you home-cooked meals, which are essentially useless. You can see I've got 2 followers here. I'll get into that in a moment. Both my housecarls, one from Solitude and one from this location. You can see I've got 2 adopted daughters now, one of which has picked up a pet fox from somewhere and brought it home. And for whatever reason I was feeling generous and I allowed her to keep it. So, now getting into mods. I have installed 2 mods for Skyrim currently. The first is the Amazing Follower Tweaks mod, which is pretty awesome. It allows you to have more than 1 follower. You can have up to 5, or you can limit it 3 total. I decided to go with the limit of 3 just because 5 would seem pretty overpowered. And then the other mod that I installed was Convenient Horses Ultimate Edition. And you can see this is something that bothered me about the game initially, or one of a few things that bothered me. One of which seems to be fixed. I'll get into that shortly. But, was that you could ride a horse, but your followers had to run behind you, which seemed a little strange. But you can see in this mod, you can use horns to summon your horses if they're far away, if they had to run off, or if you lost them somewhere. And your followers would do that. It seems like anytime you quick travel, they do that because I'll be riding and they won't. And now I'm stuck. Stuck. Okay, this is actually my second home. You buy this from the Jarl of Dawnstar, and we'll be getting into the war shortly, but after the events of the war turned in my favor, I was automatically in favor with the Jarl and was able to purchase a second home and start building here. This particular home, I am not building all the furniture manually. I just gave a bunch of money to my steward, who in this case is Yona, and told her to furnish the house. And it seems that she doesn't do it all at once, but it happens a little bit at a time. So every time I leave and come back, there's a little more furniture. And the house's basic layout, you can see, all look the same, which is a little disappointing. But you can add different rooms downstairs and for wings. So in this one I have a trophy room, greenhouse, and an armory. And I'm not sure what all that's going to entail. And I probably won't find out until all the furnishings are intact. But this is my basic house. You can see she's working a mill over here, which you can build at this house. I'm not sure what that does other than grind wheat into flour, but that is what it is too.
Still here.
She's kind of doing an homage to Conan the Barbarian there. You can see the new interaction with tweaks. This kind of goes into the features of the amazing followers tweaks. You can change the way they fight, make them cast spells, and apparently make them dance. I haven't done that yet, but I'll try just have Jordis do a belly dance for us, I suppose. See what that looks like. Really not that alluring when you're wearing steel plate armor, but there you go. And you can also
I'm right behind you.
tweak how they fight, what weapons they use, what spells they use if you have a spell casting follower, and you can make them round up all your horses, stable horses, or give me some sugar, baby. Don't tell my wife. She blocked the view with the shield anyhow, so we're probably good there. So we're going to get back into the war situation here. Just a side note, you may have noticed the second housecarl I had here, Gregor. He's the first male housecarl that I've acquired. Haven't used him as a follower yet. He tends to wander around the estate outdoors, so it's sometimes hard to find him. But interesting to have a male housecarl for once. Although having an army of hot chicks at my back is somehow more enticing to me than some bald dude. You know. Anyhow, as far as the war goes, being a Nord character, I was completely going to join the Stormcloak army. I went to talk to Ulrich, who was the leader of the Stormcloaks, but he was such a rude ass that I immediately left, joined the Imperial Army, and went to war with him. And apparently there's a dragon outside, so we're going to have to go kill a dragon here before we can have our assault on the Stormcloak fort. Fortunately, being that this dragon's attacking an Imperial camp, I've got plenty of backup here, so this shouldn't be much of a problem for us to take care of this blood dragon. I've mentioned before that this place, Skyrim, is getting absolutely ridiculous with dragons lately. They're all over the place, constantly, and I have to kill them. So, at some point, I'm going to have to really get focused on taking care of this dragon issue, just because the population is getting out of hand. So, if you're out there and listening, remember to spay or neuter your dragons, because overpopulation in Skyrim is a serious problem. Poor quartermaster. He died bravely, fighting a dragon. It's better than most can say. So, I'm going to jump ahead a bit. And we're going to join the forces attacking this Fort Amul, and we'll catch you there. I must admit we got a bit lost. I wasn't able to rendezvous with the forces ahead of time, and that is helpful because sometimes you can come up with a more clever plan of attack rather than a frontal assault, but, you know, in the end, there's nothing wrong with the frontal assault sometimes. You have noticed that's part of the convenient horses mod, is able to dismount your horse rather quickly and start fighting instead of waiting for this slow get on get off thing. You can hop off your horse quickly and fight. With these fort battles, there's a percentage and you have to kill so many people until it gets down to 0%, and then you win the battle and the war is going in your favor. I need to get my unrelenting force. Apparently I can't blow these barricades up, so I'm going to have to hack my way through with my epic elven sword. I've actually determined that the weapons I can forge myself now are more powerful than some of the stuff that I've been finding, at least until such time as I'm able to work with ebony weapons, because most of my magic weapons that I have are ebony weapons. So my elven flaming sword is pretty badass. And you can see I'm making short work of these pissant little storm cloaks. Apparently there's another dragon flying around the fort, but we're busy with a battle here. You can see these horses are rather aggressive in that they charge in, apparently run upstairs and engage enemies. Another feature of the Convenient Horses mod is you can actually use your horses to carry some of your load. If you're getting a lot of loot, you can give it to your horses and they'll carry it, freeing you up to carry other things. And apparently you can armor your horses, but I haven't figured that out yet. It's possibly an add-on compatible with another mod that I don't have yet. But this battle is actually going rather well. I don't know if I can really take out all 8 or 9 of these guys at one time. I'll give it a go. Fortune favors the foolish sometimes. This arrow's sticking out of my body. I need to get some healing potions. And I think I'm going to run up there and use my dragon shout to blow some of these people off the top of the tower. See if we can't just win this battle, move on with life. Because I'm sick of these stupid storm cloaks and their arrogant leader. Worked out rather well. You can see I'm using 2 weapons now. That's my preferred way to fight, just because I have an elven dagger that I've enchanted with soul trap, so I can cut people with it and then fill soul gems. It's a lot easier than trying to cast a spell and then kill people. And keeps me well stocked with soul gems to enchant things and recharge my magical enchanted weapons. Here they are, folks. Ronan Mac and his badass bitches in full effect. So we move ahead now. We're going to the final battle. Listen to General Tullius, the leader of the Imperial forces, give a long and boring speech. And then apparently we're going to go kill Ulrich, the asshole. Who, if he had been nice to me, I would have joined his side. But being an arrogant prick does have consequences. So, let's get in there, wipe these guys out, and end this whole civil war thing in Skyrim. Then we can move on to kill dragons and vampires and more productive things like that. And as a side note, if maybe you had noticed, like I did at the time, but the voice actor for the general there is Michael Hogan, who played Colonel Ty in the reboot of Battlestar Galactica. And there's actually quite a few rather famous people that do voice work in Skyrim, but he was the first one that I heard speaking, just because I had a lot of interactions with him throughout the course of this productive war. And he sounded so familiar I actually had to stop playing and look it up, and it was in fact Michael Hogan of Colonel Ty fame in Battlestar Galactica. So, good stuff there. I get a little lost in this battle because there's not a percentage like others I've had, and apparently you have to follow a certain route. I don't know what the route is, but I do figure it out as we go. So I'm going to edit a little of this wandering stuff out, and then once I figure the path out, we'll jump back in to the action. So at this point I have figured it out. You basically have to go through the back streets and hack your way through all these barricades. Kill lots of stormcloaks until you get to the King's Palace in the center of the city. And there's a lot of fires and barricades around that you can't get past. So there is only basically one way to get through. And like I said, it took me a while, but I did figure it out. Fortunately, I'm really badass, so I didn't die. And pretty high body count. Some might say I'm a mass murderer, but I don't think it's murder if it's war. People are shooting bow and arrows at me. I'm only justified, I feel, in setting them on fire and hacking them to pieces. My followers seem to be not doing a great job of following me, but they are around here somewhere. Just not sure where. So after a lot of hacking and slashing, we've made it to the
already done, sir.
Central City Palace, and we're going to confront Ulfric, the asshole, who, if he had been nicer to me, I would have joined his side, but being a dick, well, let's see how that works out for him.
Step aside. Almar, we're here to accept Ulfric's surrender.
I'll never surrender Skyrim into the hands of a corrupt and dying empire.
Skyrim doesn't belong to you, Ulfric.
No, but I belong to her.
Wow, that is really deep.
You are traitors and will die traitors' deaths. Stand down and face public execution, or advance and face summary execution by my hand.
Public execution or summary execution? Decisions.
What are we waiting for?
They're Nords. I'm guessing they're going to fight. What a surprise. I accidentally set Jordis on fire, and what's her name, the Legionnaire. Hope they don't mind. Sometimes things happen in heat of battle.
Right. Well,
let the Dragonborn be the one to do it. It'll make for a better song.
Song or not, I just want to.
Don't really want to kill a guy on his knees, I'm afraid. Just seems a little bit cowardly for my taste.
I'm not quite done myself.
Okay.
Talos be with you.
What was that, Legate?
Nothing. Just saying goodbye.
Well, the men will be expecting some kind of speech. And we'll need to hand the city over to that Free Winter fellow.
Runwolf. Yes, I've sent men to protect him and bring him here. Windhelm will need a government quickly if we are to prevent more violence.
The Legion will be staying here for quite some time. I don't expect there
Well, it's hard to say if I made the right choice, but
and Legate,
seems that
it's been an honor to have you at my side.
we, the
As a
Imperial
token of my
faction, are
appreciation,
victorious.
I want you to keep my sword. And now to deliver a speech.
I'm sure your speech will be as completely engrossing and fascinating as your last one.
Whatever you've heard I can do is probably true.
Just have to go out here and listen to that. And like I said, we can get on with battling vampires and dragons. More suiting things for an adventurer such as myself, rather than engaging in some strange political civil war.
Final warning to all who would still call themselves Stormcloaks. We are turning the city over to Brunwolf Freewinter, an honorable and faithful man. Many of you will be staying in Windhelm
or pawn of the Imperial State, however you want to look at it. So, we've returned to the Lakeside Manor. Just going to mull over a few things. Not really sure if I made the correct decision on this whole Civil War issue, but, well, the decision was made. The Imperials have won, and hopefully they do right by the people of Skyrim. If only Ulfric had not been such an asshole, things could have turned out differently. We are where we are now. Got a nice home, wife, a hot outfit, a couple of kids, pet fox, lots of followers who can now ride horses.
Still here.
And apparently there's an issue with vampires as well that I'm going to have to look into and decide what I want to do about that. But that's a problem for a later day. That's all we got for now. And guess the war's over. Like I said, I'm not really sure I'm comfortable I made the right decision, but I'm gonna have to move on now with my badass bitches. See if we can't restore order to Skyrim. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you later.